Hi guys, so I just wanted to do a video to talk to you guys about a blog that I started. It's called Kadima Christian, and it's basically a blog about trying to get more understanding about God and the Bible in the easiest way possible. And so just to give you a little bit about me, I started on a spiritual journey of trying to basically change my life, change my attitude, change my way of living. And I, so long story short, I tried this out. It worked for me, and so I want to show other people what I did to get to a place of, I guess, peace, a place of not letting stressors around you affect you and just making your life better, your personality better, just everything. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to go about saying it. So I'm going to keep looking down at my iPad here because to help me stay on task here. So basically, a lot of people would ask me like, how did you do it? Like, what did you do? Like, how did you go about it? Where did you start? Things like that. So I actually sat down and tried to figure out how to explain to people how I started, what, just how I started basically. And so this is what I came up with. So I'll probably do this in like 3 parts. So this is going to be the first part. First part was laying the groundwork, I call it. So basically, this is the part where I come up with the things that I'm going to need to get going. So one of the things that I did was I made up my mind that this was something I was going to do. So I told myself I'm going to give myself 2 months to try this thing. Everybody's like, oh, kept telling me as I was going along. They're like, you need to, pray more. You need to read the Bible. You need to da 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 da. And I'm like, at first I was like, how is that going to help me? Blah, blah. So anyway, I decided I finally had enough of being sad for how long, and it was just too much. So I decided I'm going to try this. So I did an experiment where I said for 2 months, I'm going to put my all into living a godly life and see if that is all that is cracked up to be. Like, is it really going to change my life? Like, am I really going to be a better person? Is life just going to all of a sudden be great? So I decided to do it. So I was like, I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to put my all into it. I'm going to do it for 2 months and see if I wasn't, necessarily trying to have my whole life change in 2 months, but I wanted to see some type of change in myself in those 2 months in order to give me an idea of, oh, this is working. Let me continue to go further with this. So that was the first thing I decided. Made the decision, made up my mind, and put, that I was going to put my all into it. And that's what I did. So then I decided to do a prayer wall. And I had saw this in this movie called War Room where, the lady was talking about a prayer wall, and then I did a Google search on it and did a little research on what a prayer wall was and everything and how it helped you. So I decided I'm going to do a prayer wall. I did one that was, and I'll try to like insert a picture of what my prayer wall looked like at the time. But so basically, I just found some. I just sat and thought about things that I felt like I was going through that I needed more help with. So mine was, love, forgiveness, patience, and faith. So I used those as my titles, and I found scriptures that supported those, 4 topics. And, I just did a Google search on that too. And I picked the ones that, spoke to me, the scriptures that spoke to me. I wrote them down on sticky notes, the long sticky notes. And I put them on my bathroom wall, my second bathroom, because I was the only one using it. So I put those on my bathroom wall, and along with, I wrote out some prayers that I had at the time for certain people, or situations that was going on in my life at the time. And so I wrote those out, put those on my wall, and I looked at those daily. Periodically throughout the day, I would look at them and, kind of just like really took in the scriptures that were on there, and really just trying to take it in and meditate on them, so to speak. And then what did I do next? So next I decided I needed to start reading the Bible, which for me was like the most overwhelming thing ever, because it just was very overwhelming just to think about reading the Bible. So I decided I'm just going to open it up, and whatever I land on, that's what I'm going to read. So I open up the book, whatever chapter I land on, start at the beginning of that chapter, and I started to read. And my goal was to read at least one paragraph before I put the book down. So, and also I would like do a Google search. Like after I'd read a chapter, say, the chapter was about, I don't know, say the chapter was about forgiveness. Then I would go and do a Google search on, Christians forgiving or something, and just read a bunch of articles about it to help me to sink it. It helped me to sink it in a little better, get a better understanding of what the scripture was talking about and how I can apply it to my life. So I would do that a lot, like a lot. And then eventually over time, throughout this 2 months, I ended up reading more than just a paragraph. I was reading a chapter or two, And then the other thing that I did, well, finally I decided I needed to go to church. So I found a church to go to, because I was under the impression that, you find a church and you'll have people that are like-minded. They're with you, so you guys have the same goal. They're, there to encourage you, to welcome you, to, help you along through this journey. And also it's a place to worship God and, pray and, all that good stuff. So I was like, that's something that I needed to do. So I found a church, and my goal was to consistently go every Sunday, as I would go to work every day, Monday through Friday. I make sure I go to work, so I wanted to make sure that I go to church on Sunday. Oh, and so I want to say, like, in the beginning of this, just so you have an idea, like, I was a Christian, I believed in God and I was saved, but I was by no means a practicing Christian. Like, I was doing nothing that I should have been doing. So for me, this journey that I'm going through is huge. I wasn't reading the Bible. I wasn't going to church. I had a bad attitude. Like, I had a lot of things to work on. And so it was, so I knew I was taking on something big, but I was determined, because I had, basically hit rock bottom, and I had enough was enough. And I was like, look, what do you have to lose? Just try it. So I gave myself 2 months to see something, and I'm like, if I don't see anything, then hey, I just won't do it anymore. But in the 2 months, I ended up changing my life. It ended up changing my life, like to the point that I am unrecognizable to myself. Even though when I was going through the bad times, I knew that I was better than that. I knew that there was more in me than what I was giving out. I just didn't know what to do to be a better person, or to not let my surroundings get to me, or, how to, have goals and actually figure out, how to accomplish them, or just a lot of different things. And I'll talk about more of them in part 2 when I actually start to put in the work, As part 1 is basically, I'm just telling you, like, the groundwork I laid to get things started. Read the Bible, started going to church, and I did the prayer wall, and overall making a decision to do this, stick to it, follow through. So I hope you guys liked this part 1 video. Hope you come back to watch part 2. And yeah, so like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will be back for the second video for part 2, which is putting it all into action. So part 2, putting it all into action. Be back. Hope you guys watch. Bye.